Okay, I'm calling the May 8th, 2012 meeting of the Acton School Committee to order at 6:04 p.m. And are there any adjustments to the agenda? Okay, we'll have approval of the school committee meetings from April 10th. The only thing I saw in here was just one little word was left out. Yeah, to Sanford.
Yeah.
Tracy Scully will accompany Tricia to Sanford. That was the only correction that I saw
Tell
on
me what
that.
that's under, please.
It's under the...
It's page 2 at the top.
Yeah, report of the superintendent.
Okay.
It just between Tricia and Sanford.
It looks like there's a woman named Tricia Sanford.
Yeah, you just need the word "to" in there, that's all. That's the only thing that I saw. Anything else?
This is really what is that?
Can I have a motion on the,
I make a
minutes?
motion to accept the minutes with that correction. Second.
Been moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor? I'll abstain because I wasn't here for that meeting. Comments by the public? Yes. Comments from the public? Thank you. Okay, communications and correspondence. Yep, that's easy. Let me just get to it. No public comments. Yeah, I'm really excited for the kids in the Acton School. The Pearson Foundation has donated 192 books to Acton Elementary, to the library project, and that's something that I can't wait to write a letter of appreciation for, and I just think it's just going to enhance the project. So I'm just informing you that I'll write them a thank you note, and we'll go from there. Okay? Yeah. Next, we have a letter addressed to Tracy Scully. It's talking about the main teacher of the year, and what a wonderful performance she gave, and how well she represented you all in that. And if you turn to the back, you can see who are the semi-finalists, and you will notice that Beth Maris from Sanford High School, whose father was a former superintendent in Sanford, Charlie Beatty, was, that's Dr. Beatty's daughter.
Didn't she do some great science thing last summer? A mission thing or something?
Yes. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I've heard about the next item, and I'm going to, with all due respect, rely on Carlene and you folks. You wanted attendance percentage rates, and there they are.
No, it's just, I was wondering how, we were keeping track of this a little while ago, and we were wondering about with the cleaning program and all that, but it looks really pretty good.
But you don't know why they were missing.
Well, no. But, you would think then, say, January would be horrible, and, from being inside and you're enclosed with the germs, I don't know, but it's not, so.
It doesn't look that bad.
I don't know what happened to the support staff in February and March. Went into the 80s, but...
Yeah. We did have I know in our district, where it was last year, we had quite a round of flu that went out in January and February, even into March.
Yes, can you...
We had 2 staff members that were out on long-term illness.
Oh, so that is in there.
Staff, so I think that's what brought it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Any other work you would like us to consider with regard to that?
No, but I like these
I think it's a nice little comparison.
It is. I like something else I want later on.
At the end of the year, I'll be able to have the other 3 months.
And we have a letter from Linda Heon, and again, Colleen, if you could go over past practice with this kind of thing, I would really appreciate it.
Basically, it's a formality asking for use of her accumulated time to use for family illness rather than her own personal illness. She's run out of her regular time and she has left it accumulated. And then mishaps in the family this year.
She has 45 minutes left?
That's on this, what was allotted
That's what I
for this
mean.
year.
45 minutes, that's quite...
Precise.
That's why you have time clocks.
Oh, I know, I see that,
Yeah.
but wow.
Well, she has a lot of accumulated
Oh, I
time.
know, yeah.
too, so,
Is this something you have to vote on, or because it's
yeah,
contractual?
yes, I would say yes.
I'll make a motion to allow Linda to use whatever time she needs to take care of her personal issues.
From her accumulated time.
Accumulated time, correct.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we allow Linda to use her accumulated time for family illnesses.
Well, she said it's a formality.
Any discussion? All those in favor? So moved. Also, I noticed, going back to those communications, I noticed in the report from last month that you went over the letter that I wrote to Tracy, and I did ask her in that letter if she would be willing to bring her display to a future school committee meeting and show us what she did in her display at the main teacher. I haven't heard back from her, but I just said in there that we would like to have her come and do that sometime so that we can,
I know she is willing,
okay,
so I'll arrange with her.
okay.
And Judy, that was my fault. She asked me to put her on the agenda for tonight, and when I had the agenda sent out last week, I forgot to put her on, so she said she'd wait until next time.
June. Okay, June meeting. Good. Yep. All right, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Yeah, this is very brief. The administrative team has been working diligently on updating their job descriptions. And what I have asked all of them to do is to take the job description, list what they do formally, list what they do when they don't have enough time to get to it, and other functions to be assigned. There are things that have evolved over the past 4 or 5 years that people have assumed responsibility for, and I think it's important for us to look at those. Notwithstanding, we'll also be looking at the secretary and support positions as well, in terms of what do, what do you need to do, what can't you get to, and what new 21st century functions should be added. And my hope is that they will be done for your perusal by the end of May. Not that they'll be adopted, but that there will be in some form to begin our work on job descriptions, and they've all been wonderful about it. And I want to commend Trish for her work in designing a teacher evaluation handbook. It's just been a great product, and she will review that with you before it's fully implemented. It's been some trial practice that we've been going through this year, but it's a wonderful model, and I think it will be an objective way to make decisions about meet the standard, exceed the standard, does not meet the standard for your professional staff. This isn't paraprofessionals, and it isn't support staff. It's strictly for teachers, librarians, anybody that has to hold a certificate. And I had an opportunity to observe the Shakespeare play rehearsal last week and was quite impressed with the drama skills of the students in Tracy Spelling, did I get that right? In her classroom, and what a wonderful way to demonstrate the STAR process that Trish and staff have worked so diligently on. And we have a father of Banquo who was sitting in our audience tonight. He was marvelous. What a great actor. What a great character actor.
Father or his son?
Well, the son.
He said, the father.
The father of both.
So do the acting skills come from mom or dad?
His son never told him.
Or just developed on his own.
He never saw it. His son never told him what was happening. Oh, boy. Typical kids.
But it's a wonderful reflection for you folks and for Acton in general in terms of how extension works and how it brings out talents in young people that we might not otherwise have discovered and given the opportunity to go forward. So it's
How many years now have the folks come down to do the Shakespeare performance with the kids?
I thought they said 3.
I think this is the 4th year that Ben has been with us, but not the 4th year. We've had the program longer than that. Yeah. But he has been,
It's quite impressive the amount of time they have to rehearse and
And what comes out of it.
and what comes out of it.
It's amazing.
It is. It's great.
we had him off and on for a long time.
It's definitely a long time.
Coming for a long time. Yeah.
It
But
was
the-
Brad that said he'd been here, this was his 3rd year.
Yeah, this was Ben's 4th year.
Okay.
Brad's first. But Ben has actually, at times, written to Pat Reeves, who has been the one to catalyst, and said, I've got this time available, I know money's tight, I'll give you a discount. He said Acton is his favorite school to come to. The kids really get a language arts period per day, so 5 days of practice, and then they perform.
absolutely.
And kids who never were comfortable in front of an audience of any sort go above and beyond, and it's wonderful for us to enjoy.
And it's Shakespeare.
It's Shakespeare.
So I hope that'll continue. The only other thing that I have is that the policy subcommittee met tonight to review the staff internet use policy. There haven't been no changes to the direct policy, but there is a proposal to add an amendment to the policy that would say appropriate use of the internet. And I will publish that, and it'll be posted for staff and the public to review in the near future. And I know that I've spoken with Michael, and his task for next year is to review in its entirety the internet use policy, and he's shaking his head no. Yeah. So,
Next year, she said.
Next year. When you're getting more sleep, it's okay.
Baby will be bigger then.
Add that to your job description.
And climb out all by herself.
I just said that's a team thing.
It's a team sport. So that's all I have for Superintendent's Report this evening.
Okay, anybody have any questions or anything for Betsy? Then let's go on to the Principal's Report.
Okay, I'll reiterate with Betsy, the Shakespeare residency, and for those of you that got to see the final performance on Friday, it was fabulous, and meaningful for all grades, K to 8. It makes it accessible even to the kindergarten students. They get the interaction, they enjoy it as well. My highlight of my report could fill pages. But I've got to say that I went to the Maine Principals Association conference, and I took 3 out of the 4 teacher leaders. Tracy and Patty and Sandra came with me, and it was transforming. The highlight was on simplifying RTI. It was, as much as anything could be, custom-made for what we need and where we are with our STAR program. The speaker, Mike Mattos, works with the entire Do4 team for professional learning communities, which is where we started and what I wrote my master's thesis book on that many years ago. So it took the why and the how and brought it up right through the PLC into the STAR program.
And what is RTI for the audience?
RTI is response to intervention. The goal of RTI is to catch kids who struggle before they fail. So the whole model process is about how do we help kids as soon as we see they're struggling.
The STAR program that we've been talking about all year long is the vehicle in which our school has been using this year to get that done. At this conference, I literally spoke out of turn, blurted, "That's STAR!" because he was literally describing what we do. I was stunned. And he also described where we're probably making mistakes and where we can improve. So it came away with a book, a desire for the rest of the staff to participate in any of the workshops I possibly can get them to related to this. It came for us at a time where we said, okay, now we're looking back at this year.
Right.
What do we want to do to make it better? And, the teachers all said they came away validated for what they've already been doing, thrilled to know that they're way ahead of a whole lot of people. A lot of the teachers and other administrators there were wondering still, can we do this? How do we do this? Does it fit in the schedule? Nobody will want to change anything.
And it's due in June.
And the mandate is up, right. We had a year extension. Acton is probably years ahead of other school districts who just don't even know how to go about doing it in a systematic school-wide approach. I think that's really the key for us, is last spring when I introduced the idea, it was the systematic approach that was so different. It's not that teachers weren't trying to address student needs. It was not done in a way that everybody could universally see. It was absolutely fabulous. I mean, just amazing. So you'll be hearing more about how I can get more of the staff informed and involved in this process at a higher level. I can't say it. The 2 days were so important and really essential for me not to have gone alone. That coming with the 3 teacher leaders who could then go back to their colleagues and say, it's not just top-down, this is the way we're going to do it now. It is truly educationally transforming. And the teachers came away excited. They couldn't wait to come back and start doing the new learning that they have. So I'm very excited. We just had a meeting this afternoon with the leaders, and we talked about our next steps, what progress we need to make to get more kids up to grade level sooner and easier, simplifying it for teachers so that it's doable, measurable. I have every confidence that as I meet with Joy and the teacher leaders and the rest of the administration team over the summer, you will see a better STAR and more results next year than this year.
You gotta remember, our school is K through 8. How much easier would it be if you're just dealing K to 4 or whatever they do? It must be easier for them.
Only if you have the mindset. The hardest thing to do is to get people to say, I'm willing to try. And one of the hardest things I said to our staff was, it's going to take 3 years for us to get good at this. We have to be okay that we will stumble sometimes, that we will try something and it didn't work and we have to try again. That can be scary for a lot of professionals, to take that risk of going in a new direction. And what I'm excited about is we were headed in this direction without a roadmap, that now I have a book of tools that says if you get to this point, here's some things you can do to move your team along. Here are the essential questions you need to ask each other in order to help transform your education, your instructional pieces.
Yeah, but all our professionals here should be lifelong learners.
Yes, but you also need to guide where the learning needs to go. This is a district-wide initiative. That's the difference. It's not you're learning about this and I'm learning about that. It is that systematic approach.
Having worked in a number of school districts myself, I mean, I'm amazed at how well and how smooth this is working. And I think it is K through 8. I mean, it's the foundation, the professional learning communities, and the staff embrace that wholeheartedly. I mean, that's what they reported in the survey. The number one thing that they felt was going really well. I think that
it's true. It had the highest response was their team meetings.
With that, I mean, having that as the foundation, you have a vehicle to discuss. And I think, I mean, I'm so impressed, and we're so much farther ahead than everyone.
It's exciting.
Well, when I went to Augusta, I went to the main school board meetings, and I went to one of the conferences was about that PLS or whatever.
PLC.
And they couldn't describe it. I came out of there going, what are they talking about, you know? So I think that's what happens. I think at first glance, it's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And these 5 people on this board were trying to describe, there were so many questions, but then I got more confused, so now that I see it in action, you can understand.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, that's what I wrote my thesis about. And, you know, the real key is, it's not just a bunch of people, a bunch of teachers getting together with haphazard conversations. It is directed about what are the students learning. You know, how are you making changes in your instruction to make the learning go better, to reach higher levels of success? And those kinds of questions really are different than the, hey, what's going on in your classroom question. You know, it becomes a different level, that professional piece. You have to learn about what the students are doing, but you also have to learn about what the other teachers are instructing. So if a teacher says, all of my class understood something, the question should be, what did that teacher do well that we all can learn from?
Right.
It's that collaborative piece. It's not an island. It's not isolation. It is all of us working to help all of them. And the STAR program has highlighted that all-hands-on-deck approach. This particular conference and the book allows us to have new levels of tools that allow us to go beyond what we've done and feel confident that we can see the direction we need to head. Again, it will be a multi-year purpose, and it'll never stop. You know, it's going to be a constant revamping. Now that we know this, what next? But I'm just so excited and so glad. The money came from the professional development monies in one of my grants. And I can't tell you how well and how valuable it was, how well used it was. So it's exciting. The other pieces on my report, when Tracy Scully and I did go to the Sanford School Board, we got very mixed reviews on the discussion of access to after-school athletics for Acton students. Most of the board did want to see what they could do, but the how was still very much up for discussion. The challenge of time, you know, that the Acton students' school day ends later than the 7th and 8th grade Sanford students. So
How much time?
about a half hour.
Half an hour, yeah.
So travel time, ending school, missing time, those things needed to be discussed. I can say at this point, it's not, the discussion is not over, but we're on another round of how can we. So I'll let you know as that transpires. Kindergarten screening, we have 34 potential students on the list. We had 24 show up over those 2 days. We have since had several phone calls of parents who realized they missed this kindergarten screening and are setting up their own times. I think at this point we have 26 or 27 kids actually screened for next year at this point. And a few we're still trying to find out. It was a very positive experience, and the kids did very well. It seems to be a very very energetic, very enlivening bunch. So, the CRT meeting we just had, Andy, is that in your report? As it was before we wrote out. It came after our reports. So, the CRT meeting, we met again with the crisis response group and reporting out what procedures are being looked at for lockdowns, evacuations, fire drills, medical response, and things like that. We are continually setting up monthly meetings and committee meetings to address the entire process and policies with that, and that's going very well.
People are also exploring the grant opportunities for additional equipment, for additional devices that would be, able to keep kids and staff safer.
Good. There I go.
All set?
All set.
When is step-up day do you have? Is it official?
It is next Wednesday?
It's the 15th.
Is that this Wednesday, I think?
So it's Tuesday.
Pretty sure it's Tuesday.
It's next week. 8th graders will get a chance to explore Sanford High School, meet staff, get a sense of the layout of the building, which is a bit larger than the halls they walk through right now.
They still pair up with the Acton high schoolers?
They're pairing up with high school students, not necessarily Acton ones, but rather best fit and those that are exemplifying excellence in education as much as possible, as far as feeling, those that have acclimated well and are successful.
Well, how do they pick them? Because like Jake, I think, would be good, somebody to walk around with him.
I'm sure they have more kids that fit that criteria than we are sending, so I don't know how they'll decide. Some of it might be what's in the student's schedule and the timing of the visit.
I think that's what they were looking at, schedule and just trying to match up personality and...
Yeah, but like he's in the tech voc, and, you know, a kid who would be interested in that would be good to walk around with him.
Right. I know we tried last year, we did manage to get a visit to VOTEC as well. I know they were trying to do that on the same day this year, but I don't know that it panned out. But that was our hope, that they would see that side of high school education as well.
Good. Any other questions for Trish? Thank you very much. Very nice to hear about the direction that we're going in our STAR program. That's awesome. Okay, let's go on to Special Ed report.
Hey, actually, I have the date for Step Up Day in my report. It is May 15th.
I thought I'd seen that.
We are, this is an ongoing transition process for our students, and so I will just touch on the fact that Tammy Delaney will be here tomorrow. She works at Sanford High School, and Betsy knows her well. She's amazing. She runs the STAR program there, and she's coming to observe our students. She was to come last week, but it didn't work out. So
Just to interject, the STAR program that Trish has designed is different from the STAR program that Sanford has designed. This is a program that is aimed primarily, the Sanford program, at students with Asperger's or autism spectrum disorders.
right, thanks for that clarification. So she will be here tomorrow to observe our students, and everyone's very excited to have her here. And then, of course, we have transition meetings on the 29th, where we'll meet with parents, and the student and the Sanford High School staff will come here and discuss transition to the high school. And we'll probably have a couple more visits for a couple of students who really require more of a transition, more exposure to the high school. And then extended school year, summer programming, of course, is something we always offer in the summertime, and I've indicated that the hours the time will be from July 9th to August 8th, and we'll have it take place Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 11:30, and breakfast and lunch will be served. And
Monday through Thursday.
I'm sorry, Monday through Thursday, thank you. It's Monday through Thursday. So we have approximately 24 students who have been recommended to participate, and we are in the process of hiring 2 teachers and 6 educational technicians to provide the services. And as I said, we have a tremendous outpouring of intent who want to work in the program, but limited opportunities. So, but it's always good. Sometimes you don't get applicants. And then the kindergarten screening, Trish already spoke to, but I was very impressed, this being my first exposure to it. Very well organized, and everyone was very professional, and the kindergartners were very lively.
Many of those 4-year-olds wanted to start that day.
Oh,
Yeah, they were like, am I coming back tomorrow?
Got my backpack ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Why are you bothering me? Can I stay? Yes, it was great. No fear.
And that about sums it up.
Going back to the breakfast and lunch program, that's the same program that we offered last year through Holly.
Yes, it is.
And it's free not only to the students here, but to any children who show up.
Exactly, and what
All
Holly...
ages.
Yes, Holly indicated that, that was the offer. She wasn't going to advertise that fact, but that we could obviously advertise it here. She just didn't want to put it out there into the community for whatever reason, and I'm not sure why.
We didn't get a huge response last year, but
We had it on the reader board and
we
everything.
had it on the reader board, and,
Like we don't
and I
advertise.
think I have some posters on my computer too that I made up last year that we can have some more of those printed up and put those around just so that, like at the post office and the Trading Post and Milton Mills Post Office, just so that people know that it is available if they wanted to bring their kids for lunch, that the lunch was free.
It says breakfast, lunch.
Breakfast and
lunch.
and I just
Oh,
had
and
double...
lunch?
And lunch, it's not in my report, because at the time I wasn't sure about lunch, but she is offering lunch as well.
Okay.
And that's from those dates? July
Yes,
9th to
yes.
August?
July 9th through August 8th. Monday through Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, anybody have any questions for Joy? Thank you very much. Facilities Director's Report.
Just to hit a few of the highlights from the report. The kitchen floor project was completed over April vacation. I'd like to thank the custodial staff for stepping up and helping out to make this happen, because April vacation, there was a holiday on Monday, so we had 4 days to complete the project, as well as a lot of the other regular cleaning and the regular routine that we do. So I was happy to get the floor done over vacation, and it's one of the last projects that was on the list that we had generated at the beginning of the year. Baseball season is in full swing, no pun intended, but
Noticed that one.
You just thought you'd throw it out there, right?
Oh, very good, Judy,
didn't want to leave anybody in left field. But it consumes quite a bit of my time tending to the fields, and one of the goals that I had put for the month of May was to have the irrigation system up and running, but I mean, the weather that we...
Naturally.
The weather that we've gotten has definitely made the fields green quickly, but it basically boils down to mowing them at least twice a week. And I did mention to one of the baseball players yesterday, they had a home game, that I would appreciate a win for Acton because of the work that had been going into the fields, and they did win.
Both baseball and softball won yesterday.
It was mutually appreciated efforts, I think. I'm going to let Mike Corey elaborate on the security upgrades, I hope, that we've been working on and discussing, and that would be the surveillance system. A representative from MSMA was here on April 24th to basically check the building to make sure that we are properly insured as far as the value of the building goes. It's a routine visit. He comes, walks through the building, takes pictures of the outbuildings, just pretty much a routine visit. Other than that, just setting my sights on May and June. Relining the parking lot has already been completed. Monitoring the year-end projections of the accounts, and beginning to establish my list of summer projects.
The lights are all done.
The lights are complete.
It looked nice. Yes, the other day.
It's also nice out here after dark.
Yes, it is a
Very
definitely
nice.
nice improvement.
Yeah.
Safe.
And the savings is impressive too.
Speaking of that, have we realized any savings since we've changed electrical suppliers?
That I don't know.
Maybe between $300 and $400 each month.
It's gone down. It's progressive. I understand it'll continue for a few months till it reaches a certain point.
Well, right now, once school gets out, our bills go down anyway,
Yeah.
you know, but,
So you should get a better idea by next year.
right.
But the other thing too is, a while back I had mentioned, getting having an energy audit on the building performed at some point. When I do get a chance to catch my breath, I do want to move forward with that, just to have somebody come in and evaluate the building. We've taken a lot of measures to make sure that our building is energy efficient, but I do want to explore other, resources as far as making sure that we're on track, that we're doing everything that we can do in that respect, so.
Well, sometimes I pass by that big garage and there's a light on up in the attic or whatever that space is, and it could be 10 o'clock at night, so I know no one's up there, but you never know. Could you, get one of those sensor switches that if they sense no movement, then the light stays off or something like that? Isn't there something?
Turn the switch off. Can you leave?
That would be good if it's done, but I'm not saying just once, I've seen it a few times, not blaming anybody, I'm just saying there
That's
are
me.
things.
What I'm going to do,
That light is glaring in the middle of Acton.
what my intention has been is that I'm going to get a light switch in the garage that is illuminated, so that I know.
Red light, something's on.
Yes, that the upstairs light is on. But I am.
It's one of those motions.
I am guilty of that.
Turn it off.
Either an illuminated switch or a real good window shade.
Good idea.
Okay, any other questions?
Trying to save money.
I understand that, right. Any questions for Andy?
But you are correct, Mary, because I have received phone calls from the night custodians more than once saying that they would appreciate it if I would shut it off, because they have to go out and shut it off after me, so to speak.
Don't go there.
Okay, let's keep on going, and we'll go on to, thank you, Andy.
Welcome.
We'll go on to Mike's IT Manager's Report.
All right, I've expanded a little bit, just one line, I think, but we've started the NWEAs, they're halfway done,
Those are achievement tests for folks here in the audience.
and they're going smoother than ever. This round, I'm doing it 7th and 8th grade on the laptop, so it doesn't take over the lab, so the lab can still be used for regular class time. So we'll see how that goes Thursday and Friday. I'm working on rewriting the technology use policies for both staff and students to include personal mobile devices, internet network misuse and consequences, not just a vague, right now it's just a vague, some consequence is going to happen, but what is it? I don't know. Along with accidental damage or abuse, we've had occasions, once a year, I think we have one student who smashes a screen, destroys a laptop, even occasional staff member who does it. They're accidental, they're, random things happen sometimes, but, $300 to $1,000 is accounted for, so I'm going to try to write something up for that. I'm also looking into having personal insurance for the students. I have and staff there, but I think I'm going to take that out. For when they want to take the laptop home, they have to pay up. A lot of school districts are doing this. And that will cover a lot of the damage that will happen if it happens. And I think I'm going to include that the student will be responsible for a percentage of the damage, like 10%. So 10% of, $1,000, it's not horrible, but it's still hefty. But the insurance will cover most of that, or all of it, and have spare room to play as well, hopefully. So that's something that I'll go through after the year's end, and then the policies are being written and stuff. And I'll let everybody review what I have written and tell me what you like and you don't. And believe it or not, but I start preparing for the next school year around now. And I have a list of things I need to do, and I haven't done any of them.
Lists are good to start with.
Yes. So the biggest one on my list is to clean my office so I can get my work done. So that's top priority right now. But I have a list of things. I don't want to go over them. But I have a ton of things I'm starting to work on for next school year already. Andy mentioned the surveillance system and the security system. The RFQ went out, and I've got 4 or 5 companies now knocking at the door, scheduled for walkthroughs tomorrow and Friday, if I recall. And Southern Maine Cabling came in today, this afternoon, and did a walkthrough. So we'll hopefully be getting quotes in for those and have that installed over the summertime, I'm hoping. And as mentioned, everybody's rewriting their job description. Mine doesn't exist, so I'm writing it from scratch. And I went through my contract and I realized I'm not supposed to do jobs outside of this job that may negatively impact. So I am coming to you delinquently, requesting permission to run the Acton Public Access Television Station. With your permission.
We need to make a motion? I'll make a motion that Mike can do whatever he wants on the side, no. Stress that. Mike can do the what do we call the ABC now? Acting Broadcasting?
APAT, Acton Public Access Television, APAT.
Acting Public Access. I'm kidding, Betsy, it's a joke.
That's the extra $3.85 you pay your MetroCast cable.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve Mike doing the work on the Acton Public Access Television channel for the town of Acton.
Can we add an amendment that he has to clean his office too?
First.
Please let me make that a priority.
Any other discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. We might have something definite to talk about at the June meeting then, right? About this. Good.
Now, when we're talking with the system on the front door, we're talking not only a buzzer, but also a camera on the front door.
That I discussed with them today. The camera, having an integrated camera buzzer system costs $3,000 and change. Having just the camera systems, what was it, $1,800? I mean, just the buzzer.
Yes.
It was like $1,500 or $1,800. So you got to take that into consideration. You have to realize that the person buzzing at the door is going to have a camera pointed at them anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
from inside on the surveillance system that's being recorded. So,
So hit the buzzer and
look at the
hear
camera.
the buzzer and
Yep.
then look at the camera.
Right, and I don't know what
The monitor.
plan is as far as putting a window in or whatever. I don't know what the plan is on that, but you still have that camera to rely on as far as time of entry, who entered, facial recognition.
I think my concern was that, somebody buzzing in, unless it's Linda sitting there who knows everybody, it's good to have the camera to verify.
You will have visual viewing of who's buzzing in. You won't be able to see them in detail, but
Yeah.
you'll know that
But there will be a monitor.
it's a 4-foot woman hitting a buzzer.
Yeah.
She's got brown hair, kind of thing. There will be a video. I mean, that's the cheap scale. Or you can get the integrated video system.
No, we don't need anything
They have
that
to be able to
big.
see me.
Now, the other question I had, I was thinking about that, this system is going to be in place during school hours, correct?
The video surveillance?
The locking of the...
24/7.
Yeah, I think it's 24/7, the front main entrance.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is, for example, tonight, is they gonna, would the doors be locked, so...
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
What about at basketball games and
Yeah,
things like
games
that?
and
That's,
events. I mean, there'd have to be somebody at that door.
I think there's a master switch.
So it can be
Yeah, and I think that you would,
I know the magnetic lock systems have a master switch on and off, like a light switch. You turn it off, there's no magnetic lock, people can go through the door. But with the cheaper or less expensive model, which doesn't have the magnetic, we don't, I don't know.
Well, we have
I'll have
to
to ask
decide.
them.
We're trying to get, we want the kids who are in their classrooms safe. I mean, that's the goal to start with. Yeah, vandalism and all that for when the school's out or whatever. But you're talking about, 7:30 in the morning till,
Right, while I'm reviewing the quotes and the specs, I will question the vendors whether or not we can unlock it for the night.
yeah, because I think that when we
Events.
originally discussed, going with this type of system, that it was pretty much while school was in session. Correct. That the system would be utilized, and, for events after school, the bells ring, the kids are on the bus, school's over, that we would have the front entrance unlocked. And, this might be a discussion that we have to have as far as what exactly we want to do, when we want it locked, unlocked. Because, such things like as, concerts, after-school events and stuff like that.
graduation.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. All those events, you're gonna want your main entry unlocked.
I think mechanically wise, it's similar to what we got now. I think you just turn the key on the push lever on the door and it's unlocked, and you just open it up and close it, instead of switching a light switch.
Because there's a lot more building use now than there used to be.
Yeah.
After school hours with various activities and groups and practices and all kinds of things, so.
I really think, I really think you have to look at other schools too, to see how they're operating. And remember as well, we are K-8, so what elementary schools are doing could be very different than middle schools, who are going to be utilized more often. We've got both. I visited over April vacation the new elementary school in Somersworth. It's a K-5 building. Because it just finished this summer, building it, all the latest, and, it's all post all these conversations. This school was finished in 1990. That was pre-concern about the safety of, at the level that we're talking about at this point. It was before all the Columbine and all that. So, talking about a window and even access for people to see who's coming and going, our office is not designed with that in mind at all. So, I understand the need for the surveillance, but at the same time, I don't want us to keep putting quick fixes and Band-Aids on something. You really need to decide if we're allowing access to the lobby, which makes perfect sense during these big events. What do we not allow access to? How do we control what we can limit? Again, this building, it has that central area, but it's not exclusionary. If I go to some of the high schools, if you're going to a concert, they can shut down all the other area, and there's access to a bathroom, the kitchen, or vendors, or whatever. It's all planned ahead. We don't have that type of situation. We have people here that need to get to the cafeteria, and they're coming from this direction. Other people are going to the gym. So, it really, we have more complicated because we've got such a wide range of use of this building. So
Because it was built in sections and then added on, and this was added on. We do have the capability, though, of locking off the middle school end, right? And of locking off the end down here beyond the cafeteria.
And the times that we do that, Andy and I have had this conversation since we both came on board, sometimes that's in the best interest, and other times that causes other problems. And so it really will be important to have this conversation as to what is our first, as you were saying, the primary goal. Is it the during the day access that we're most concerned about, and we have to kind of prioritize so that we're not undoing something in 3 years, what we just spent $10,000 doing, or $5,000, whatever the cost of any one item may be.
Do we have the proper exiting in case there's a problem, say we have something going on in the gym, and I guess this could be in one of your fire drills slash whatever, what we call it, CRT, too many abbreviations.
You need an alternate egress.
Crisis response.
Okay? If we lock those doors and people can only get out through these ones, what I'm saying, the wings are shut and locked, because if you guys aren't around with a key or whatever, we can't get through. So, and then, of course, there's exits right out the gym. Do we have enough, egress?
I believe the answer to that is yes. And I also know that we have a certain number of, there's a limit on number of occupants that can be in that area for the amount of egress that we have.
Okay. Oh, so that's how they do it. They say, since we looked around. But I'm saying, I hope they're not thinking, if other parts of the school are open and filled with people, because, in a concert, kids are down in the wing, in the classrooms. I'm just saying, it's like, so complicated.
Will there be cameras at each exit entrance door?
That's the game plan, it's the
that-
main entrance and exit doors are gonna be
Okay.
covered. And then, some main locations outside will be covered too, so we can see who's coming and going.
It
down the-
started as mostly because of vandalism, what happened, somebody got up on the roof even or something this summer.
At least.
And no, but then, it's the safety.
Yeah.
Even if we just had cameras, and then we could always roll back the tape and say, who was that?
Right, or if somebody's looking for somebody and did they come and pick
But
them up?
then that's
and
where it got to, maybe
it'll be
we
on
should just
tape.
have people buzz in, but that's only like so many people say, one person looks at, oh yeah, it's so-and-so, and they buzz in. Well, 3 people come behind them. It happens in apartment buildings, it happens all the time. You could be buzzing one person and 10 others.
There's a lot of people in and out of here in a day's
Yeah, I
time.
don't know of many schools around there that you have to buzz into.
Buzz in, right.
I think
St. Thomas.
St. Thomas, that's a private school, so.
And that's
I know
twofold.
Historic Primary, the Hurd School has it. I know-
Buzz in?
Buzz in?
Buzz in.
Oh, for heaven's
The
sake.
middle school. So, again, but
Willard does.
I think, this is an important discussion about what you see as the priority. The main entrances, the key exits, places outside. But Mike asked me today, about some of the inside things. Do we want the cafeteria? Do we want the gym to be watched? It can become overwhelming.
Yeah.
We have to really decide, and I don't think I should be, I really felt like I wasn't prepared to know what the board wanted. So
I think we're starting from scratch and doing something with it, that we need to do it right the first time, so we're not coming back
Yeah, so
later.
we don't
and
have to constantly
saying,
say that.
oh,
So
I
that's
wish we would have done it.
That's why you started
We have the
scenarios.
expansions now, we can add it.
The what ifs and...
Yes,
We could put
that's why I kept
6
getting.
cameras
Yeah.
and then have room to grow to 16 if we want
Wiring
to.
it, whatever.
So
We
the
have the expanded-
expansion possibilities.
Right.
But, I had discussions with both Mike and with Trish briefly today about, Mike has got a floor plan of the building, and we were looking at the key areas where we want the camera locations. The outside is relatively straightforward. The inside, it is based upon what your goals are for installing the system, whether it is, a burglary event, whether it is a student, there's a fight and you want to get to the bottom of what happened, or if it's bullying, or if it's any of that stuff, you've got the capability of looking at, reviewing the tapes for that purpose. So you want to clearly define the purpose of why you're installing the system, and then you want to pinpoint the key locations of where you're expecting, this stuff to happen. So it's...
And again, we're a K through 8 school, we're not a high school, so, you don't get fights breaking out in the cafeteria regularly, it's...
No, it's true. That's how it all started, is, if we're gonna just do cameras to watch the outside, well then, it just starts to snowball. Because if you're gonna spend the money, you don't wanna put a system in, and that's when it came to, well, they can expand the system if we do this, and it's like, so So, yeah, that's how it started though, so I don't know. We have to have the discussion. Huh?
Have you thought of visiting a school that has a system in place?
Right.
To see where they might give you some ideas?
Now, in all seriousness, you may want to take a tour of the elementary schools in Sanford, because each one of them is a different architectural design, and each one of them has different demands in terms of the security. For example, Willard has a buzzer and a camera, because if you're familiar with the front door of Willard School, nobody can see who's coming and going at all.
Right.
Margaret Chase Smith, that's different. Carl Lamb has buzzer and camera, and that's a virtually brand-new school. So I'd say a field trip would be in order.
I agree, and like I said, the one I saw in Summersworth had all the latest and, planned ahead of time. So their window does look out into that, in between the first door and the second door of entrance. So that...
You gotta take a wall out in the main office.
Well, honestly, if you're thinking about even like the central office, which is totally vulnerable and has no other egress, if you're talking about the safety of the staff and the students while they're here, you really do need to look at the design of the office itself, that nobody's intent is to be looking out the window at who's coming in. They're all facing the door to the office. So it's a very different purpose of the design of the space.
Unless you had monitors that were going to allow the person sitting to see.
So I just think, I do think it would be wonderful to go visit other schools and to see how the old buildings have adapted to this new concern, and see how new buildings have incorporated the design right from the get-go. And maybe we have some options here that we're not seeing. But I think we could still start with the main entrance being covered. Some of the initial things that Andy and I both saw was no-brainers, cover the front door, get that viewed on, and then you can start looking at what is our long-term plan, and what is cost-effective. Maybe busting through a wall and making a window is far more effective than we think. But maybe it's a ridiculous idea because of the blasting through brick. I'm just saying, without exploring it,
I think that one of the key things though to consider is what Mike said about the fact that this system is something that, if it's not a perfect science, we can add to it. Because in just reviewing the floor plan of the building, identifying the key areas where you want your cameras, once the system is up and running, if you feel that you've got an area in the building that's inadequately covered, we can add to the system.
Now, I don't mean to be self-important. I'm a busy person. I can't even do the signs for people running in this town. I have to send it out. But, can we send the facility director, at least at some point in time, could be even over the summer, to look at different systems out there at the
Absolutely.
elementary schools? That's my suggestion.
Let's make a field trip out of it.
Let's go.
Mike and Andy.
Field trip.
Mike and Andy.
Like a movie.
and I really feel that makes sense.
That makes
Get the initial
sense.
cameras up and running,
Makes total
and then
sense.
look at, even like you said, an office, the design of how people have handled the physical space of their office for access to people and parts of the building.
Well, I could see the new person sitting in Linda's desk facing out.
Yeah, the other,
Might have to be turned around.
I think if Mike and Andy were to take a trip and go around and visit some of these schools, and then if the board could have, if the board could have floor plan copies, so that you could show us on a floor plan what your recommendations would be based on whatever quotes you get from different companies. And then we could look at the floor plan. If the board had some suggestions, or maybe it would be good to, at this time, to add a different area or whatever, we could, but kind of leave that up to you guys to take a look and see what's out there, and to get some floor plans for the board for our next meeting, maybe.
With Southern Maine Cabling, I gave them a high-end ballpark quote to hit with 14 cameras, and then the recording equipment and the buzzer system without the video. So based on that, I mean, once we do make the trips around, we probably might need less cameras. Who knows?
Well, the other thing is when I talked with Pete from Southern Maine Cabling, one of the things that I like to take into consideration is this is what these people do. They install
That's
systems.
what I was thinking too. They're professionals and they kind of can tell us too.
Yeah,
Yes.
I asked him, here's the floor plan, look at
Yeah.
it, you pinpoint,
What would you do?
vital places that need to be covered.
I think that we would rely on their professional
Expertise.
standpoint, and take their suggestions into consideration.
No, it's good, and to hear a variety of them.
And he actually has installed systems in several of the Sanford School buildings, so.
Well, the other thing I would want to look at is, I'm not sure if the town of Acton's up to a buzzing system. Maybe putting a window in there or changing things around so you have a better view.
At the town hall, you think?
No, for here at school.
We were talking about doing it at the town hall at one
That's what I was
time.
just thinking, to get a better
But he means
price.
the community itself.
Right,
How
right.
positive would they respond to?
I think it would be a very negative response at the start. I don't think the town of Acton's, up to that point now. I think with maybe redesigning, looking at maybe putting a window in there and they can cut through the concrete,
We were talking about in place of a buzzer system.
correct.
I think you'd find that parents certainly wouldn't be adverse to
It
having.
was tough, though, when we went, we had every door open, and when we went to just having the one door, it was like, you can't come in over here?
In my school too, there was about a year or two of that. As a parent who has had
I know.
the buzzing thing is at times inconvenience, this is kind of annoying, but ask me to choose the safety of my children or being annoyed, really a no-brainer. It does mean change.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that even just redesigning how the office furniture is located so that the view is a better one. I don't think there's an either-or. It's what's the best we can do, and why are we doing it? But
We can't see between those two doors from the office window at all.
When I came in, it's all brick.
it's a brick wall.
Yeah, but I see from the very outside.
over.
And it's
The
an
windows are
angle,
too
too.
far over.
So,
Getting back to what Richard's saying and also what Tricia's saying, whenever you make a change like that, it's always difficult. And back when we first started discussing this, I suggested that if the board decided that this is where they wanted to go with the security of the building, that they do it definitely during the summer, not midstream during the school year.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because that transition is difficult, So,
Lockdowns.
So we will put you on the next agenda for further
End of this year.
For
safety?
Okay.
sounds good.
Anybody have any other questions for Mike?
And what the experts say when they come.
Yeah.
I think that's good. I mean, that's why we did rush it to say, well, find out how much.
Okay, let's go on to committee standing and special committees.
Finance?
Oh, finance director, that's right. I was just marking you as I said that and looking at the next thing. Go ahead.
Okay, Judy.
Why isn't she sitting at the table?
We don't need more chairs.
I didn't move the chairs back.
here, take my chair.
Getting on the surveillance, just finishing that, the bids are due by May 17th, so it's in 2 different papers, and 3 different papers, so we should hopefully have some decent bids. Of course, Michael's been getting phone calls anyway, so. The pre-audit's been scheduled for May 21st and 22nd. Bill Hall and a few of his associates will be here to go through every piece of paper they want to annoy us by pulling. Checking all of the warrants, they check the invoices against the bill rolls, they check the checking account, school committee minutes, they go through quite a bit of it, and that way, once the books close, come July, they'll come back in and maybe they'll be here for a full day, and that's about it, they should be done. So we will book that when they come in May, and that'll be taken care of. we have to look at a couple of the cost centers. The system admin line is an individual cost center. Cost centers cannot be overdrawn. Student and staff support, I need to look at those as well because we've had some additional costs that have brought up that were unforeseen. In the student and staff support, it was mostly health insurance. In the superintendent's line, it is, one of the costs is legal. It's gone overdrawn, and it's getting a little higher, so we've got to look at those, because if they do get to that point, the transfers need to be made before the end of the year. Once we get to the end of the year books, then it's
So this would come to us in the June
Right,
meeting.
they suggested we make sure we make transfers done prior to that time. Dawn and I attended a workshop on April 24th with Anthem to discuss their new plans. I've included the spreadsheet with the breakdown. Anthem came up with 2 additional plans, which they had to put in under standard plan, even though they were POS, because the timing was too short for them. We are, at this time, not able to offer these to the staff because of collective bargaining, but these 2 options can be added in next year once we negotiate. And it does have deductibles of $500 and $1,000, which the cost is, as you see, significantly less.
Well, see, that I didn't feel was significantly less, right? So when I look, most of our people have the choice. I mean, the standard plan?
No, choice.
Most of them have choice. All right, so I go at, say, just look at the family. It says $1,637.58. You look at family, say, of the $1,000 deductible, which I thought should save us a lot of money, it drops to $1,483. So I said, but then, I said, I don't know how many people we have, I forget, so I just put 30. 30 times how many dollars is there? It ended up being like 50 grand, or something crazy. I don't know. So it ended up, I was like, it's not that big a drop, from 16 to 14, right? I don't know, it was an amount of money that was more than I thought. So if the change did take place, it would save.
Right, so these are the options that will be available to our staff. If they do choose to take one of them now, maybe it would be cheaper for them, especially somebody coming in with the higher deductible, with the 85% as opposed to 88%, which is what the teachers are at right now. Then we can tell them, sure, if that's what you want to have, but as far as paying the extra money, that'll be something will have to be discussed during negotiations. I also included the preliminary ED 279, and that's the Department of Ed release. No changes have been made, so that means our funding is still right where we expected.
Very well. Yes.
So we're going with it.
Good.
That's about it.
That's awesome. Anybody have any questions for Carleen? Okay, now we'll move on to the committees. Long-term planning committee,
They didn't meet this month.
okay, and the policy committee is, we had a brief meeting tonight, and there will be an item on an amendment to the staff internet use policies for consideration of the next meeting. Okay? Any unfinished business? Any new business?
I just have one thing that, I don't know how many of you are aware of, I heard this afternoon on the radio. You may want to pay attention to the 6 o'clock news on Channel 6 on Thursday and possibly Friday evening about how the state, most of the schools that consolidated through the process last time have decided it's not working out very well and are trying to get out of it.
That's true, I've heard that too.
They have a special Thursday, I think Friday, 6 o'clock on Channel 6.
The authorization of charter schools is completely reversing the RSU COS concept. It just is amazing.
Well, they're saying it's just not working out financially.
Right.
You know, for the majority of them.
It's because they didn't get rid of the top like it was
And
planned.
loss of control, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we were facing.
Did
here now.
anybody pat us on the, I don't think we got pat.
No, we never did.
I patted ourselves on the back, though.
We thought it was really good.
That was after we finished beating our heads on the bricks in Augusta a few times, and,
3 years.
yeah. But, you know, I think, you know, it's, I'm not sure that many people in the community realize what a bonus it was for us to be able to achieve that donut hole exemption and be rid of those penalties and not be locked into being forced to pay another district an unfair amount, not having any say in it at all.
say in
No say,
policy,
so.
Right, and instead, we are still collaborating and working cooperatively
To save money.
to save money
Exactly.
and to meet the needs of our students.
And without anybody breathing down our back. We're doing it on our own.
Well, the other school systems could go about it the same way.
They could
How
have.
come
They could have.
They need to come talk to you, Jeanette, and you set them straight.
And then you're an island, remember? You can't get to Acton without going over some water.
We're definitely surrounded by water tonight.
Okay, no new business? Then I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I so move to go into executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 4056A.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Okay, we'll go into executive session.